All right, Erin and Carmen, thanks for being here today. I want to start out by talking a little bit about money mindset. I think that this is such an interesting topic. A lot of people don't have what you would call a good relationship with money. I want to talk a little bit about the work that you do, how it comes into having a different money mindset, and how human design comes into the picture. Can you tell me a bit about that?
I mean, you want to go or you want me to go?
You go. I'll let you start
Um,
and I'll chime in.
I think, for me personally, that kind of has been my journey with money. I think that there's a misconception that people that have money have a great relationship with money. And what I have found is that's not true. And I mean, let's just say there's truth in both, right? There's people that have money that have a great relationship with money. There's people that have money that don't have a great relationship with money. There's people that don't have money that have so you can find it in all, but this just overall blanket that people that have money have a great relationship with money isn't necessarily 100% factual. And what I realized is the more that I spoke to people, worked with people, I realized that this is actually a thing. And we aren't necessarily talking about it. We talk a lot about our struggles. We talk a lot about, what's not going right with us. We don't necessarily share how we feel about money and our relationship with money, because I think money, sex, and politics is one of those things that we just don't talk about. And so it just perpetuates how we feel. And we also think that we're the only ones that's experiencing it. And the more that I shared my story and connected with other people, I found that that was very true for a lot of other people, and especially women.
Yeah, that makes sense. Carmen, do you want to talk a little bit about human design and bringing into that?
So, to further Erin's point, the belief systems that we have in our society about money are definitely not to talk about it, like she said, and use our heads to logically think about how money should be. So what human design kind of does for us is it brings it back to our bodies. It helps us reconnect with that inner feeling of what money can be for us. And human design gives us kind of like a decision making, an ability to trust ourselves versus our heads and the beliefs that we have around money, so that it's like more of a connected thing moving forward. And it feels good in the body. So
And
it's
that's
that
great.
connection piece.
That feeling of money feeling good in the body, that alone
Mhm.
feels like a shift from how a lot of us experience money in our body. So
For
that's,
sure.
yeah.
And I think for all of us, it's different. It shows up differently, especially for how we're designed to make those decisions, not just with money, but in life as well.
That's great. So you've been working on creating a workshop series that people can sign up for. It is Creating Financial Ease with Human Design. It's a free workshop. I want to hear a little bit more about why you decided to create this and why you have made something so value-packed, free and accessible to your audiences.
Well, I think that going back to what Carmen said with human design, it wasn't until I learned about human design and the way that I was supposed to make decisions that and getting into my body that things started to shift with me and my relationship with money. And at least in the Western world, we're so heady and logical thinking. And some of the decisions that I have made with money don't make logical sense, because it has come from my intuition. It has come from, the way that we are meant to make decisions. And it has worked out so amazingly. And so I think that in the human design world, there's lots of teaching and there's not a lot of helping people understand how to actually use this. Like Carmen and I meet so many people that they'll say, oh, oh, my, chart is, I'm a generator or I'm a projector. It's like, yeah, but how are you using that to support you to move through life, to trust yourself, to be in your body more? And so for me, it was a no-brainer of working with Carmen, because I definitely would say Carmen is more of the human design extraordinaire. And I use it with clients. And I think that working together and pulling what she has been able to use with her clients, and for me, what I've seen, and just having that, it's fun to collaborate and to go back and forth and to have those different perspectives. And I think that, I don't want to say need, because we don't need anything, but the world could use more people connected to their selves and their knowing and trusting themselves, versus looking outwardly of what is everyone else doing and seeking that validation externally.
I think it's that accessibility piece too, right? We want this out in the world so that it changes things for people, right?
Mhm.
Free versus cost-wise, to me, it's not about money. It's not about a transaction. It's about, here's this thing that's going to change your life.
I think also too, it's a lot more fun when you've gotten some of the foundational stuff. Like this is foundational stuff. This is stuff that someone should just be able to have and to already have worked through, possibly before they come and work directly with us, because then you already have some of this, yeah, like foundational stuff that you've been able to sit with, because human design isn't something that you learn about and then you just, this is years in the making of, how to come back home to yourself, to listen to your body, to trust your intuition, to honor your, strategy and authority. And if we can provide and give more free foundational stuff, then it gets super fun when you get to dive into the more advanced stuff.
Yeah, that
It
makes
makes
sense.
that transition piece from where you are now to where you are working with us a lot smoother.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the details of it a little bit. There's 6 modules that people go through, 4 different videos that you kind of walk through the concepts. Let's talk a little bit about what you're hoping people get out of this, what it should guide them through.
Carmen, you want to go?
It will guide them through some of the as Erin said, the foundational stuff of human design. The pieces that I find are very important to move forward with implementing your human design in real life, whether it's with your finances, whether it's with your relationships or what have you, or just plain decision making. It is definitely that. And it is that decision-making piece for each of us, because we all have our own decision-making style. So it guides us through that as well. And the workbook is really fun too.
Awesome.
I think, decisions is how we create everything in our life, right? And so how many times have we not done something because we are stuck in indecision, and indecision is a decision. And so the more that you can trust yourself, the more that you can practice this. And this isn't something that somebody has and someone else doesn't. It's just like all of us, it's available to all of us. It's just how practiced, it's a skill, right? How practiced are you at following your intuition, seeing that it works out, and having and building that evidence that it does. And so when you have it's, I look at it like it's going to class and not even knowing what the teacher's going to talk about, versus you've already had the whole chapter. You've already had the questions. You've been able to ponder it. You've already kind of worked through it. And then you go to the teacher and you're like, I've got a couple of clarification questions. Can you help me with that? That is like what we're doing with the workshop. So you already get to have that and be with that and work with that. So then when you come, you get to, like, have those clarification and dive deeper into, some of the things that you want support with.
Yeah.
One of the modules that I love personally is the energetic module, where we learn that it's there, we live in this world of logical thinking versus the energetic piece that goes along with money, the 3D and the 5D. And Erin does such a good job at explaining how the two impact each other and how we can move through that better using our human design and around our finances. I like to think of Erin as this person that is so wants people to shift that thinking of what we think it should be to what we want it to be and how it should feel in our bodies. And she just honestly does a really, really good job of that in that module and throughout the whole workshop.
Thanks, Carmen. I appreciate that. I mean, when I think about like, I just want everyone to like think about like your best friend or, you know, your best lover or whatever way you can think about. Like, that's what I want people to think about money. I have full body chills right now because we all deserve, right? We all deserve to have everything that we want in this one precious life. And let's just be honest, money is a part of it. And we get to have it, we get to use it, we get to generate it, we get to share it in ways that just feel so good to our soul. And I also think a lot of times with women, we have a lot of guilt and shame around that, of owning that, versus like the world is better when people, you know, get to share and have money and circulate money that is in a supportive, loving way. And I don't necessarily think that that has always been the case of way that it has happened. And so I think we have this conflicting relationship with money because we see like, oh, it can do a lot of good. And also, and I don't want to say money can do good, right? People use money as a tool to choose it in a power, you know, in an empowering or a disempowering way. And I think the world could use more people that want to use it from an empowered place and from love.
That's beautiful.
And honestly, what would the world look like if more people saw our workshop and took that piece and just moved forward with it?
Yeah. I really love, there's so much value packed into this, as it is, but then additionally, you're offering a free monthly Q&A session for anybody that's gone through the workshop. I think something I love about both of you is that you're so committed to community and connection, and you're genuinely there to show up for people and kind of foster this growth and this journey. So tell me a little bit about the live Q&A, why you decided to do that and what you hope comes out of that.
I think for me, and Carmen, you can speak to this, but we've both been in communities where you learn, but you don't have application. You don't have embodiment. You don't have that community and that connection where you get to bounce things off of each other. And yes, Carmen and I might know more about human design than maybe someone coming in, but we can all learn from each other. We can all learn from our experiences. And I think that there's value in that. And so Carmen and I have had to create our own communities in different areas, right? Because we haven't been able to necessarily receive that from teachers. And what we wanted to do, I think what was important to us is as we teach, as we support people, we wanted to provide that piece, because that is just as, if maybe not more important, because you can learn a lot, but if you're not applying it, if you're not being able to reflect and see how, you know, that has impacted you and make, you know, be able to use that to move forward, it's like we're just learning more information. It's like we don't need to learn more information if we're not going to be able to use it and to grow from it and to bounce ideas off of each other. And I think that having that support, and I think a lot of times we get those downloads, you get those freebies of like, okay, download a PDF. Okay. Yeah. But now what do I do with this?
Mm-hmm.
And so here we go back to, you know, community and sharing and connecting with other people. And I think that the more that we can become empowered, the more that we can share our stories, the more that we can ask questions and show up and, you know, get those questions answered and play with it, then the more that we evolve and we grow.
We learned so much about ourselves through other people, right? So it is, especially for me, for knowing my design, I know that there are so many ahas that come from seeing how other people interact or how other people move through life that reflect back to me. And it's like, it's almost awe-inspiring, really. So why not bring that to people to implement it in their lives, right?
That's great.
And the
So
workbook, I wanted to say, and the
yes,
workbook
tell me about
The workbook that Carmen designed, like I've told her, we Vox her a lot, you know, offline. And I'm like, Carmen, this workbook is legit. Like this, it's so good because here we go back to the application, right? It's you're actually having to sit down and I mean, I've even done this where like I'll read a book and it's almost like I'm racing to get through the book versus like actually taking your time to sit through and do some of the exercises. And so the workbook that Carmen created is amazing. And having that to be able to go back to over and over again, I think is really, it brings it all together and you're able to look at it. And yeah, it's incredible.
That's great. I have really enjoyed in working with the two of you, and it's so obvious in this conversation how much you complement each other and how much you appreciate each other for your individual strengths. There's obviously a lot of overlap, but you both bring different things to the table, and I just love this relationship. So I want to talk a little bit about if someone goes through this workshop, they're in the Q&As, there are kind of ways to work with you as individuals. I want to kind of hear what that would look like. So Carmen, do you want to start and say, if I went through this workshop and I was interested in learning more, how might I work with you?
So I offer in-depth human design readings. So we can dig a little bit deeper into your chart and see what really makes you tick. And there's other ways you can work with me as well. I have some other offers that aren't human design related. So, but definitely the human design readings. And I love to offer time to help you implement your design as well.
Wonderful. That's great. And Erin, you want to share a little bit about working with you and what that would look like?
I think it's all about, you can do one-on-one currently is just changing your relationship with money. And I am having a wait list for people that want to join like a group where I'm going to bring in facilitators to, Carmen will be one of them, where we dive into your human design. It's more business related for women, where we can dive into human design. We also get into the body using different modalities, because that is one of the things that I've learned is like, you can work on your money mindset, but that is just right here until your body feels safe to be with money, to expand your window of tolerance, things of that sort. The mindset is just part of it. And so that is something that people can get on the wait list for if they want to do that.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time today and for creating this workshop series that people can engage with. I'm excited to have it out there in the world for people to sign up for.
Thank
Thank you
for helping us create it.
Yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much. This was so fun.
Thank you.